Hello YouTube, welcome to Alibro production. Today I'm going to talk about the American election. I am a Chinese immigrant to Canada. I would like to share my perspective. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very scared by the election fraud. The mail-in ballot without verification, the malfunctioning of the software calculating the count, not to mention that there were dead people who cast their ballot. With so many frauds going on in a massive scale, the mainstream media choose not to report about it. And especially on CNN, there's this guy, he's saying, oh, I don't care what happened, Biden just won. All of this sounds so much like the communist state of China. I grew up in China and I'm very familiar with the fraudulent governments doing. And this is exactly the kind of things they would do in China. And today I am seeing it unfolding in America. And that made me very, very scared. I immigrated to Canada because I believe that in North America or in the West, there is democracy, there is freedom, and there is justice. And that's the appeal from the West. But today, I'm seeing the America, or sort of the leader of the West world, is losing their ground of freedom of speech, and respect of the truth. The media is lying to the people, obscuring the truth. This is exactly what the Chinese media has been doing. It is very hard for me to accept the fact that the Western media, the Western democracy have plummeted. It doesn't matter who won the election, but that's not the point. The point is an election has to be fair and square. Oh, I have to add one more thing why I'm so scared. Silicon Valley, those high-tech companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, they are using their power to distort the reality. And that's even more scary than anything else. I was watching a YouTube broadcast live streaming on YouTube one day, and the host was clearly a Trump supporter, and then all of a sudden, and the video was cut off, and then there was a notice saying the channel has violated the YouTube and in rules or whatever, but that's totally censorship, something only the communist and dictatorship states would do to their people. What's going on with America? What's going on? I think I have an inkling of what's going on. And this is the main point of this video. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, plays a big part in all of this in American election. First of all, the voters' fraud shows that some people become very desperate. The outcome of the election means life and death for them. And these people, I believe, are part of the global corruption network that include the CCP, some people from Wall Street, etc. They would invest all they have at all costs to make sure that the outcome of the election would go the way they wanted. I understand that some friends are not happy to see Trump got re-elected. I'm not here to comment about my political opinion about the Democrat or the Republicans. I'm here simply to to state the truth that I know about. CCP in particular have a very, very strong interest in the outcome of the American election. Trump has been the number one enemy for the CCP top leaders. Trump has started the trade war. Trump has sanctioned against Chinese state companies. And there's a lot of things showing that the American economy is going to be decoupled from the communist states. All of this is an existential threat if it goes on to the Chinese communist leaders. That's why CCP would do whatever they can to stop Trump from being re-elected. In terms of the specific fraudulent practices in the American election, I believe they were directed by the CCP agents. According to my scores and information, the CCP has been preparing for the American elections. So early this year in 2020, a few very high-profile CCP officials were released from prison. Well, doesn't matter what reason they were put in prison, but they were released. And they were released on the condition that they would help the CCP leader to meddle with the American election. Well, these individuals are specialized in propaganda, in fabricating the false truth, and they also have special connections with the American deep state. Their connections are based on massive corruption, of course, at the cost of the common people in China, in America, in Canada, the underdogs. So the CCP and their corresponding corrupted friends in the West are working side by side to change the outcome of the American elections, which we are seeing now. There must be a lot of story that Moscow only shared a little bit, but I believe that the truth will be revealed later on. Well, prior to that, the FBI directors have already told the Congress that a lot of Americans' identities have been stolen by Chinese hackers. And they were trying to figure out the motive because usually identity theft would result in money loss, but none of these cases result in that. So today it's become very clear that the stealing of all the American identities of the individuals has been used for this illegitimate vote. Well, it has been known to many Chinese in China that the Chinese government is mailing in fraudulent ballot for the American election. So I'll tell you an interesting story. A friend of mine in China, he was trying to mail me a pair of glasses, but he didn't know which carrier he could trust. So he asked a friend of his who worked at the mail's office. And then his friend was laughing when being asked and saying, "Are you trying to send some fraudulent ballot to America?" It is easier for the Chinese under the communist rule to understand that things could be a foul play. But in America, especially in Canada, I found a lot of friends around me. They found it hard to believe that anyone would do such a brazen fraudulent practice in the American election. So they dismiss all these facts about voters' fraud. They wouldn't believe it. But for me, who came from a communist state, people like me realize this fraudulent practice right away. So I hope that American, Canadians can wake up and identify who your real enemy are. In my opinion, your enemy is someone who works against your interests, and they are the corrupt media outlets, some high-tech company from Silicon Valley, some people from the Wall Street, those who in the academia who work with the CCP's surrogates, and there are many more who as long as they are part of the global corruption systems or the systematic corruption in North America, those are our enemy, your enemy, my enemy. They are working against us, and I hope the American people can understand that. Thank you very much.